I'm wishing everyone is having a good weekend and that this evening is good for you. I am showing you right here something that I have had for some time from the 1990s. This is a Novell Certified Netware Engineer certificate. This is also known as the Novell CNE. This was at one time the gold standard in IT certification. One thing about tonight's video is I'm doing it completely unscripted, so it's something that I don't normally do, but I just thought it would be kind of interesting to just kind of do a whole stream of consciousness thing and let it fly. Anyway, this took me about 2 years out of my life to earn, and it was a lot of work. And it was at a time that wasn't too easy. I was struggling to establish a career at that time. And to explain what a Novell CNE is, it has to do with netware. Netware was a product made by Novell. It's still made by Novell. I believe it's still around. It's probably just not as popular as it used to be. It was a platform that was only used for networking in larger, let's just say larger business environments. It was not something like Microsoft, which made a whole range of products that you can use at home or office or just about anywhere on Earth. But what Novell was, and I should say what it still is it's a software it's an operating system that runs on different computers, and it's a whole protocol. It's a proprietary protocol, and in able to learn all this stuff, I had to know all kinds of stuff: TCP/IP, as well as different physical, the 7 OSI layers, and so on and so forth. And a lot of the stuff is stuff that I never really used. In fact, I only used it to get my foot in the door of a lot of interviews. I was trained as a networking professional, but that really wasn't what I was doing with this. I'm not going to get terribly into my career because it kind of took an interesting path afterwards. But at any rate, I still have this, and it is, along with earning 2 college degrees, I consider it one of the great accomplishments that in my professional life. I have 1 degree in IT, industrial technology, another in electrical engineering that I earned much later in 2005, 2006. But this came in 1996, so it was some time ago. It's a nice looking certificate anyway. And the funny thing about this no sooner did I earn this degree, or to earn this certification, then they came out with an even newer version of netware. It was like, while I was taking that class, they just came out with a new one that they wanted us to take, so I took that. And then once I completed, they unveiled yet another version of netware. And by that time, I actually took the test so I could stay current. But by the time the 3rd one came around, I was just done. It takes actually 9 exams I believe it was 9 exams to complete this to earn the certificate. I mean, you get 2 of them, you become a certified netware administrator, and this is an engineer, which is 1 step above that. So, so I didn't really stay current with it. So it's probably not that. It's not really that big a deal for me because I don't really use it in my everyday work, and I just used it as a stepping stone, a tool. But it's one of those things you were supposed to whenever they came out with a new version, you're supposed to take the test to stay current, and then they had an Enterprise CNE, which was another program altogether, which was more complicated, had a lot more bells and whistles, but for me that was enough. I also took other certifications such as CompTIA A+. Now, what's interesting, and this is what I really wanted to stress upon here, is that whenever you earn something like this, like NetWare, like Novell NetWare, you're earning you're learning things that will eventually become obsolete. I am 100% sure that everything I learned, well, most everything, probably not everything, but a good chunk of it is old information. This actually, it gives you a lot of academic training on these products too. It doesn't really. It's one of those things that unless you do this at work, unless you do this on a constant basis, you're probably not going to be able to use the actual product that much. You're going to. I've had this situation where I stepped into a lot of job interviews, and they told me they would give me things to do, like they would say, okay, we want to watch you configure this network, and they give you everything. I've never done this before. I don't know what to do. I suppose in this day and age, I could always look at a YouTube video or get information online, but back in the 1990s, we didn't have a whole lot of information on doing certain tasks. But that's okay. I mean, I kind of learned by doing things. You take that fake it till you make it approach, and it can get you. It can eventually get you to a point where you know what you're doing, and that's the thing about IT. It's all you could have degrees, certifications, anything you want, but if you can't do the work, then what good is it? I think it's a lot like being a musician. I can have like a degree from the finest musical school in the world that says I can play a trumpet. Well, I sit down and they're at an orchestra. They're going to audition me. Okay, play the trumpet. Well, if I've never played the trumpet before, then am I going to be very much used to the orchestra? See, that doesn't count. All that paper and all that stuff doesn't count. But in my own situation, I kind of worked my own path out. I kind of built my own career. And that's what you really need to do in this world if you want to succeed. Your career may take you in a path that you just didn't expect. Maybe you'll answer an ad in a paper and it will be for something, or like nowadays we use the internet. You might go to Indeed or something, and you might get a position that you weren't really prepared to take, but you do your due diligence. You study the situation before the interview, and you get hired, and you're actually doing that work, and it might not be easy for you, but eventually you're going to learn how to do this. Some companies will give you a lot of time to learn. They'll have a long learning curve. Some companies have no learning curve whatsoever. You're expected to walk into that door and know what you're doing. And if you have something like a Novell CNE, which I'm talking about if it was in the 90s, a lot of times they will think, well, you have to be an expert. You have this certificate. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The certificate or the job, the work experience? Of course, work experience. In the world of IT, I believe work experience is more important. Now, having papers, having certificates, will get you into a lot of job interviews. It'll get you listened to. Your resume will not be ignored, but you can. But it's that really what you know that's really going to get you that job. It's what you know is really going to allow you to keep that job. You step in a door and you don't know what you're doing, or you have to be taught things, or you don't know the things that you're expected to know, you're not going to last at a job. That's just how it is. So, so what you kind of learn here is the world of certifications keep going on. We now have Cisco CCNE, which my understanding is a much harder certification program, and actually does require a lot of hands-on knowledge to succeed in. You also have stuff like Microsoft A+, CompTIA A+ has been around forever, and it's still around. It's still a pretty good thing to have, especially if you're on the entry level, because it shows that you have hardware knowledge, and a lot of employers will look for that. Keep in mind too, a lot of these IT jobs are not always permanent jobs. They're not always long-term jobs. They could be just projects that you get, and some people who are very good are able to survive working one project to the next. It wasn't something I really liked doing myself. I liked having an actual situation. I liked having an actual home, so to speak, like a workplace where I can work out of. And eventually I got to such a point in my career that I could conceivably just kind of do it all on my own. I'm right now disabled. I can't really do a lot of work, but I think that there is. But if I really wanted to find a way of making a buck or two, then this is the way to do it. So certification. So to put it to start with, certification good for moving up in your career, getting you into doors, but it's only going to get you so far. Same with education. Degrees, they're useful, yes, but they won't get you everything you need in this world. And that's all I really care to say about in tonight's video, and I hope everyone enjoyed what I had to say. Comment if you have anything to suggest. I'm always willing to listen to other people. If you have any comments, suggestions, or things you wish to contribute, questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Anyway, have a great weekend and good night.